Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? I am struggling. I mean, these past several days, I'm sure you're aware of everything that's happened, has happened, is happening in this country. And I'm very, very angry, very full of grief. And I know it's important to take care of ourselves even while we fight in whatever ways we can and stand up against what's happening right now. But it's taken its toll on me. I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you. So I am struggling. So there's the obvious reasons that I would be struggling right now, and a lot of you probably feel the same way. It's just hard to get up and exist every day, to be honest. And then on the top of that, everything with my mom, with her being an end stage Parkinson's. I talked to my dad yesterday, and he was at the long term facility care with my mom. And sometimes he asks if I want to talk to my mom, and I'm like, yes, because I do, even though with the stage she's at in Parkinson's now, I really can't. I can't hear her because when you get to the end stage of Parkinson's, you can't get enough breath to really, have your voice to be loud enough. And then also, nothing that my mom says anymore makes sense, but I still want to talk to her when I can. But when I do, it's very painful because it's not my mom as I've always known her. So when you add to my personal struggles with my mom and then the national crises and the worldwide devastation that we're seeing, it's very hard to function, get up every day, fix breakfast, wash clothes, pay bills, just trying to go on. And then on top of that, Rena, a lot of you may know my youngest daughter, my only child who still lives at home. She is severely disabled and she is developmentally delayed mentally, physically, and also blind in her right eye and only partial vision in her left. She's not exactly nonverbal. She can communicate a few things, but she can't have a conversation. But she's been having worsening coordination issues over the past month, and she's been having more falls. Like, I do use a transfer chair to transport her from place to place. She is 17, so she's about as tall as I am and catching up to me in weight. And so she's been having those problems, and I don't want to, even though she wouldn't know or understand, I don't want to like just blast her personal information, out here. But like I said, she has been dealing with worsening coordination and balance issues and falling more, and started she has to wear a helmet all the time to protect herself. But even with that, she's banging her head a lot, and not when she's upset. When she's upset, she does self harm sometimes, but it's like a tick almost, because she's also autistic. And so she's like banging her head a lot. So we don't really know what could be going on. So Rena has to have an MRI this Friday, and she has to be sedated for it because she doesn't understand, to be told, hey, you can't move, you have to be still. So all of that is just on me right now. And I know I opened this up and I didn't even say, hey, I don't know if I said, hey, how's everybody? But I just feel like you need to know where I am today, because I'm going to be authentic, I'm going to be genuine, and I am struggling. And that's why we're here, though. We're here to support each other and to practice self care because we all need it. We all need it. So I'm going to check these comments now and try to bring some light into the day. We've talked about the heavy stuff. Feel free to share in the comments what you're struggling with, because I want us to be here for each other. Hello, Swank. Happy chocolate cake day. Always need an excuse to eat some chocolate cake. National Geographic Day and happy plan a vacation day. Okay, see, that is bringing some smiles to my face. I recently watched actually an episode of a National Geographic. It was an episode about exploring Antarctica because I just did my Polar Gothic episode 3 on my booktube. Well, here on YouTube. Sorry, my brain. If you heard everything at the beginning, you know where I am right now. So my brain is very scattered. But yeah, I watched a National Geographic documentary about Antarctica, and it was really cool. No pun intended. Hello, Kat. A late start to the day. Well, in all fairness, Kat, it's cold. You're not that far from me, and we are getting unseasonably cold temperatures. Like the high here yesterday was only 37, and that is wild for the Alabama Gulf Coast. I love it though. I'm loving this winter. Last night we got down to like 18 or 19 degrees. The high today is 48. But I saw coming up, I think this coming Saturday, our high is 34. And I'm like, now we just need the snow. We got the cold, we need the snow. But I do want to stop also speaking about snow and other weather related events. I'm thinking of everybody, and my thoughts are going out to everyone who has been affected by storms recently, snowstorms and other storms too that I know have been going on in other parts of the world. So while down here where I am, snow is typically a fun event. We don't tend to get out and drive in it because we're not equipped for that. I know snow in these other places is catastrophic at times. So thinking of everyone who's dealing with problems from that. Hello, Eleanor. Yes. Second cup of coffee, wonderful. I'm always here for coffee. Yeah, I'm trying to provide a space to escape, but I know the beginning, I was not really providing that space, because I needed to talk about what I've been going through and what we've all collectively, as a country, and then as humans existing in the world, what we've been going through. But from here on out, I'm going to shed some light on. But feel free in the comments to, if you want to talk about what you're feeling right now. This is also a space for that, to talk about that and to be community together. Thank you. I appreciate the hugs, and I love you too very much, very much. Worked out, making breakfast smoothie, unloading the dishwasher. See, Kat, now you said you had a late start, but look at you go. You're on a roll today. Hi, Tina. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate this community, because that's something that's going to get us through whatever comes our way, is this community and a safe space to love and support one another. So thank you so much. Yes, yeah, I understand. It's like, you know, it was horrible enough to go through it once, but the fact that we had to do this again in light of what people already knew about that person, it just, I blows my mind. I just can't wrap my brain around it, but I don't think a logical, intellectual, compassionate person really can wrap their brains around it. Yeah, yeah, all puns all the time. Yeah, the cold weather is it's wonderful to me. Like I said, I love it. I love the coziness. I did have to get out yesterday, and when I left my house yesterday morning, thankfully the sun was shining, but it was 28 degrees. But actually, I didn't feel cold because I had on a tank top, a short sleeve shirt, a sweatshirt, and then I also had like a big coat and my beanie and like fuzzy socks and boots. So I was like, it's not that bad as I'm getting out and about. So I am enjoying this winter weather. I can't sing, but it does, I will occasionally go around the house when it's cold like this and go, I love the winter weather. And that's all I'll sing of it because nobody wants to hear me sing. Hibernation, yes, exactly. And winter is, if we're thinking about seasonal, you know, the way that the seasons affect us, winter really is a time to be cozy and to rest. I mean, nature rest, right? Everything is dying or dead, and you just are supposed to be resting and staying warm. So if that's how you're feeling right now, listen to your body, listen to nature, and hibernate. Take care of yourselves. Hey M, how are you? Yeah, yeah, you got to still, especially, when life gets hectic and you've got family obligations or, other things that you have to do, when you can still those moments, you got to grab onto them and practice your self care when you can. Hibernation, Tina Bear. Yep, I get it. Yeah, I don't have, well, I may have to go run one errand today, but that should be it. And the rest of the time I can be here reading, which is what I need to do. Oh yeah, filming, I get that. I still need to watch Cats. She's got a new 26 and 26 video up, and I still need to watch that as my watch later. I do have one video that I want to film this week, and that's my February TBR video. I already know a couple of the books I'm going to read, and I feel like what I'm probably going to do at least this whole year is to only commit to two, maybe three books each month. Um, and then the rest of the month, just read based on the vibes that I'm feeling, especially with the way my brain is right now. I don't want to feel locked in to anything. So there are actually three books I know I'm going to read in February. And that's probably going to be the only ones I talk about. Hey, Crystal, how are you? Yeah, icy weather. So you get to be hibernating today, which can be a good thing, but then it can also be difficult when you might have more time, like you said, to sit and to stew on things. Grieving and angry, that's it. And I just can't, I don't even think I can articulate what I am feeling, what I've been feeling for a long time now, and what was intensified after the events of this past weekend. And I won't say a lot about it because I do want us to have this time to take a breath because it's important. You have to find that balance of confronting what's happening and then stepping away for a little while just to keep your own sanity. But I watched the video. Part of me is like I shouldn't watch this video, but the other part of me is like I can't turn away. And all I keep mm, I keep seeing it replay in my head again and again and again. And I don't even know. I go from rage to grief, from sobbing to screaming to just, I don't even know. I don't know. But I just have to hope for change, and we're seeing some. We're seeing some of the tide turning, so we just have to keep doing what we can do. And I just want this space to be one of the places that we can come together and love each other and take care of ourselves and take care of each other, because community is key. It is the key to getting through these days that we are, experiencing right now. Community is so important. That same. I mean, I do. I sing all the time, and that's the thing. It's like a concert performance when Tim and I go anywhere. He just braces himself for it, and he knows he's just gonna get a free performance from me on every road trip, and he loves me anyway. Above freezing. See, you are in a region I can see that's like it's very, very cold, to where Cat and I down here, in the southern part of the United States, we don't get so much of that. So we get excited, when it comes. Although there are plenty of people who live around me who are not happy with this winter weather, but I am. I'm happy. I love it. Oh, ADHD Summit. I love the way that you do so much with the ADHD Summit, Swank. I need to really dig into that too, because I also have ADHD and I've tried some of the different medications, but none of them work. They all cause other problems for me, which I'm already on some medications for major depressive disorder. So I don't know if it's the medications not working with each other or if it's just me. So I have to use skills and techniques and ways to kind of try to work around my ADHD. So I really do need to dig in my heels and watch or look at some of these summits. Yeah, I understand. Staying in that in your own little world, especially when you don't really know sometimes who you can trust, who is a safe place, right? Sometimes it's hard to find that. I understand. The only the book I know I have to read before next week is The Place Where They Buried Your Heart by Christina Henry, because I am a co-host for Isabel at Isabel Reads, her first book club event. So I've got to finish it, and I have started it. And that's my plan. My self-care today is to read The Place Where They Buried Your Heart. I think there are only 305 pages. I'm 2 chapters in, and it's like an easy read so far. So possibly I could knock it out today if I really just spend all my time on it, which I might be able to do. Because last night I cooked a big crock pot full of my loaded potato soup. So I double the recipe, which means we get to have that again tonight. So I don't even have to cook tonight, just warm stuff up. which is another key thing for me with self-care, is to double recipes. So that way I'll only have to cook something once and then we can eat leftovers for the next night, sometimes even 2 extra nights, because now at home it is just Tim and me and Rena, whereas at one point when all my kids were still here, there were 4 kids and 2 adults, and leftovers were not, they weren't a thing then. But now that there's just 3 of us, that does help a lot with my self-care. Anytime I don't have to, be in the kitchen cooking, is nice. I do enjoy cooking, but it's harder with Rena because she does need a lot of help from me with different things. So if I'm trying to cook and then she's needing me for a lot of things, it can be a bit stressful and overwhelming. So good, I don't have to cook. And plus, loaded potato soup in this cold weather is such a perfect comfort food. Hello, Jackie. How are you? What's going on today? Are you working? Are you at home? Yeah, it is hard to find that balance. But yes, finding people and connecting with each other, even if it is online like this, because like where I'm located in Alabama, there's only, you know, a few people. I know there are a lot of us here. I do want to just briefly say this too. A misconception in other parts of the United States is this belief that everybody in Alabama or other red states must also be red. That is not true. There are quite a lot of us here who are not. So it's just sometimes harder to find each other. You just got to look. Nice. That, yeah, getting that cleaning, decluttering, and the hot tea. Yeah, coffee, hot tea. I had some hot chocolate last night. I have some wine that I could mull. I got mulling spices. I haven't done it yet. I mean, I've done it this winter, but just not with this recent cold snap. I've just been feeling more hot chocolate vibe, but tonight maybe I might mull some wine tonight. We shall see. Oh, thank you. You all keep me going too. And I love you, Em. I love all of you. Yes, Crystal. I said Crystal is churning out. Like, if you don't follow Crystal at Fiber Artsy, you need to do that on Instagram, on YouTube. Crystal has been churning out book reviews and book chat videos. I got to catch up. She's got another one since I watched. I do also want to say, speaking of current events, too, Crystal recently did a book review and chat about George Orwell's 1984. So if you haven't watched that, definitely watch that. If you haven't read 1984, I almost want to say don't read it now, but read it now. Just brace yourself, because it's all too relevant. But it is, I think, a required reading. It is actually required reading, or it did used to be for schools. Some places are taking it out now for, reasons, but definitely read it if your mental state can take it, and then watch Crystal's video. Back at work. Okay, well, I'm glad the roads are clearing up for you, and that you're able to get back to work. Unless you really wanted to be home, then I'm sorry, but I know it's better for everybody. I know when roads get clear. Okay. Okay, well, I'll ask my psychiatrist about that one then, because he had me on something that was a stimulant and then something that was not a stimulant. And I can't remember. It wasn't that, it was something newer that was a non stimulant. And I don't know, it just made me feel like I don't know how to say this, even though I am a person who's has mental illness, I still want to word things right, but it made me feel more mentally unstable than without being on it, when I tried it, and I can't remember what the name of it was, but I don't think it, no, because it was new, so it couldn't have been that. So I'm gonna write that down. Thank you. Let me write this down because I will forget if I don't. So thank you, Swank. GP, okay. Well, then I could also ask my GP about it too. Mulled wine, yeah, it is. It's so good. I just like I said, I got a big full bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon, and I've got the mulling spices, and I just haven't cracked into it this cold snap, but I don't know why because it is perfect. I just been feeling more of the hot chocolate. But you know what? I kind of think maybe I've been feeling the hot chocolate because it makes me feel like I'm a kid again. And that's something that I've also noticed, not just with the events that are currently taking place in the United States, but since my mom really went downhill in this end stage Parkinson's, I have found myself wanting to do things that I did as a child. And things like drinking hot chocolate or Life cereal. I haven't eaten Life cereal in years, but that was like my favorite cereal as a kid. So lately, at least once or twice a month, I buy a box of Life cereal and eat that. I've been coloring and not just like my adult coloring books, you know what I mean by adult, like grown up coloring books, not the other kind of adult stuff. Although they do have those books, I just don't have them. But it's fine for you if you do. I don't mind. My best friend does, but she'd kill me now. It's out here. I can't take it back. So my coloring, I bought like a little kid at Christmas time, like a little kid coloring and activity book, and just regular old crayons and colored in that. So I feel like there's this part of me that's wanted to return to those comforts of childhood, things that remind me of my mom and things that remind me of being a child when I didn't have all these worries that I do now. So that's been an act of self care for me too. Yes, absolutely. She is, yeah. And Crystal actually inspired me to do the Read What You Want. I just put a post on Instagram because I was like, I've been thinking a couple of years now I should do that. But then after listening to Crystal and watching so much of her stuff, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do that. So we are not quite finished with January, and I've read two things that I already owned, Physical, All the White Spaces by Ali Wilkes, and I had the Kindle edition of The Red Tree by Caitlin Kiernan that I've had on my Kindle for a while. So I am inspired and I'm excited because now I'm going to read what I own. Love you too. So much love here today, and I'm so happy for that. Hot chocolate, yes, it is. It's so comforting. And now I want some hot chocolate, and I may, when we go to the first self-care sprint, I think I'm going to make myself some more hot chocolate. It's a little early for mulled wine. Yeah, it's only 9:30 where I am. I do have champagne, but I haven't opened it yet. So I could make a mimosa. That's my classy way to drink in the morning if I want to drink. I'm like, oh, it's a mimosa. But I really am feeling the hot chocolate for this next sprint. Yes, self-soothing. It is good. It is good. So I think we are at the end of the comments. And I thank you all for being patient with me and letting me talk about things in this space. And again, like I said, if you need to talk about it, please feel free to do so. So let me. No, I'm not even gonna try to fool with the Pomodoro Kitty. I don't know what's been going on lately, but I haven't been able to make it share right. It's probably something I'm doing, even though I feel like I'm doing everything I would have normally done. I don't know. So I'm going to switch us over to a different little banner to think about what we can fit into our day, and you can let everybody know in the comments and then let us know after we get back. So technically it's like 9:32. So we can, I would say, well, I need to take this off too, this banner, and change it to when we're going to come back. So let me create the banner for when we'll come back, since I cannot get my Pomodoro Kitty to do right lately. So we'll come back at, if I can type, we'll say, let's just say 20 after the next hour. That's not exactly 45 minutes, but maybe a little over 45 minutes, but I think that'll work. So we'll return at 20 after whatever hour you are coming up on. And I will see you all in a little while. Hello, everybody. How did you do? What did you do to practice some self care during that sprint? Let me know. And I'm going to switch over to this one so we can talk about what we're fitting into our day today. I got some reading done in The Place Where They Buried Your Heart by Christina Henry. I did make my hot chocolate. I also had to do some housework type things like get some laundry going. Then I also had to clean out the cat litter box, which is always just such a lovely task. But I love my cats, so I'll do it for them. So let me know, what did you get up to during that time? So Jackie is getting work today, getting work done today. Yeah, that's the thing about, when you have time off, then you have to go back and there's the work that was, going to have to be done that day anyway. Then you got to catch up to all the work you didn't get to do. So I'm glad that you can count in here or count this chat that we're doing for self-care as your self-care today. So everybody else, let me know what you did. Skincare, a nice hot shower. That sounds nice. Very nice. We have to take care of our skin. I didn't put on, well, I put on like just a little face makeup today and that's it. No eye makeup because I don't know if I got like something in this eye over here, but it's been a bit irritated. So I just put some drops in it this morning and didn't bother with any eye makeup today. But I did wash my face and moisturize. I moisturized twice a day, like once in the morning after I work out, and then again at night after I shower and before I go to bed. And I exfoliate twice a week. So yeah, I gotta get in all that good skin care. Ready for the day. Nice. Started a Spanish lesson. Awesome. So what are you using to learn Spanish? Let us know. Safety dance. Oh, do the safety dance. Oh, I need to see that video. Letter 5 or letter S, ABC Adventures, to-do list, and updated self-care habits. Nice, Kat. You were very busy during that time. Very nice. School, yeah, that's the thing. When the kids are out of school, then you have to try to do their schoolwork with them. What kind of schoolwork did you have to do? Was it fun, like reading, or did you have to do math? Which some people think math is fun. I'm not a big math person. I'd much rather read. So thank you, Eleanor. Here's like really my key is I do drink a lot of water and then I eat, a good amount of fruits and vegetables. And I do like I said, moisturize twice a day and then exfoliate twice a week. And I'm trying to think of it like anything else I do. I get in the sun obviously sometimes because you need that, vitamin D and I like to be outside, but I protect my face like sunscreen and sometimes I'll wear like a hat or a cap or something. So that's what I do. And then I also have like good genetics because neither of my parents, although my dad will be 80 this year and my mom is 72, they don't really have like a lot of wrinkles or anything. So I think part of it too is like just the luck of the genetic. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I've had my printer for a while and it's one of the kinds that is like it's like you don't have to buy as much ink. You just buy these like I don't know, bottles and stuff and it lasts a long time. So I'm pretty happy with it, but good to know if I ever have to get into the market for another one to check out the journaling. I've been doing a little bit of journaling too. I didn't even talk about that. So I'll check in and see what other people did, and I'll talk a little bit about a couple of different kinds of journals that I've been doing. Ooh, a year of self-care. That sounds wonderful. Okay. Learn craft Spanish. All right. Free courses. That's always nice when you can find those free courses, because I know some of the ways of learning foreign language can get really expensive. So that's nice. Okay, well, see, history is also one of the subjects I like, because, the funny thing is, or it's probably not funny, most people would have probably known this, but I didn't really think about it. Like, when I got my master's in English, how much history was involved in that, because a lot of what we, talked about when we read different works were the culture and the history when the works were written and what they were in response to. So it almost felt like I was getting a degree in history too. So that's interesting. And obviously it's extremely important to know history, because when you don't know history, you don't recognize patterns, and you don't recognize things that are happening again and again and again. So, very nice to know and study. Okay, on YouTube. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, and the self help book is on KU. So nice, nice to be able to get it that way. So I did talk a little bit. I said a moment ago, I talk about some journaling. I mentioned this on Saturday Morning Momentum, which takes place on Cat's channel every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Central Time. So if you haven't joined the Saturday Morning Momentum, make sure to do that. But one of the journals I'm working on is a grief journal through a literary lens, because even though I write quite often, I was having difficulty articulating the way I felt about my mom and the grief that I'm going through. I couldn't really find a way to express it. So I did my annual reread of Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, which is my favorite classic. I did a reread of it a couple of months ago. And when I reread it this time, I marked and annotated all the passages that spoke about grief. And then I started thinking about, in terms of my grief about my mom. And I was able then to take those quotes, and I've got them in a journal. And then I respond to those quotes with the way I'm feeling about my mom. And then I read some poems and a few other things, and I took some quotes from those. And so I'm slowly, working through responding to those quotes with the way I feel about my grief of watching my mom go through Parkinson's and being at the end stage now, because I felt like just responding in to literature really helped me articulate what I wanted to say. And then also, I never thought I would be interested in junk journaling, but I had seen Kelsey used to be Slime and Slasher. She's got a new channel name, Kelsey's Nostalgic Life. Most of you on here probably know Kelsey, but she was talking a lot about junk journaling and showing her junk journals. And then I just happened to get a notification about a podcast where they were talking about junk journaling. And I was like, I'm going to send this to Kelsey, because she'd probably, be interested in hearing this. And just for, fun, I listened to the episode myself, and I was like, okay, you know what? I think I want to do this. So I have started doing that, and it is just so much fun, and it's so freeing, and just gives me a chance to express my creative side in a way that I don't usually do. So I would consider my journals, both kinds, part of my self-care now too. So let me check these comments because I feel like I've been blabbing for quite some time. Well, you know what? Taking care of your family is important too. So definitely have to do that. Yeah, I can see that. Definitely. Like same with literature, right? Theater shows history and history, is theater. Yeah, they're so interconnected and, just intertwined together. Oh, okay. I need to listen to that because that's one of the things I'm learning from my therapist is about complex grief and anticipatory grief, where I'm already, watching my mom decline physically and mentally. So there's grief there. And then anticipating knowing what's the eventual end result of this, and just grief on top of grief on top of grief. But I will check that out too. Definitely, thank you for that recommendation. Yes, see, yeah, exactly. And like I said, when I saw the podcast episode, I really had no intention of listening to it myself. I just thought of Kelsey immediately when I saw, that podcast episode. But after I sent it, I was like, I'm just going to listen to it. And then there you go. Now I'm hooked. And that's something I can do also while I'm listening to audiobooks or podcasts or even like watching something. I can do that junk journaling and use my hands that way and maybe not scroll on my phone as much. I feel like, it's important to be aware of what's happening, but then also you can just get sucked down into that portal of doom where you really can't function because you keep on looking and looking and looking for the next horrible thing, and that is also not healthy. We have to have a balance like we talked about earlier between being aware and then taking care of our own mental health. So I think we are at the end of the comments, so we will come back. I think, it's going to be a little more than 45 minutes, but we'll come back at 11:20, and I will see you all. Wait, one more comment. Yeah, it is hard. And but hobbies, definitely. Hobbies are part of our self-care too. Whether it's reading, watching something, baking, taking a walk outside, junk journaling, whatever we might do to, express our creative side. So we'll come back at 11:20, and I will see you all at 20 after. Happy self-care. Yes, that way you're using both, right? Your junk journaling is kind of that more whatever, you feel like float your boat at the moment, whatever you want to put down on your, paper. And then the reading journal, then you're writing and getting your thoughts out in a different way. I think it's very helpful to have both ways to express ourselves. All right, see you all soon. Hello, hello. Let me know what you got up to during that time. I got some spinach dip and some chips, and now I am actually drinking a cranberry mimosa. We were talking about mimosas, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna have a mimosa. So that's some self care. Also made it to chapter 4 of The Place Where They Buried Your Heart, and I'm enjoying it. And I kind of feel bad saying that. I won't give anything away, but wow, there's some brutal stuff in there. Like I was not expecting that. So yeah, let me know if you're reading The Place Where They Buried Your Heart. And if you are, what do you think of it? So let me check the comments and see what everybody got up to. Hello, hello, Chantel from the Spooky Library. Let us know what you're doing to practice self care today. Schooling sandwich, tears of amber. Okay, that sounds good. I haven't heard of that. So let us know what you're thinking of it so far. I love the title, ADHD for Smart Ass Women. See, I wrote that down because you had mentioned it, I think, on Saturday Morning Momentum. So I did write that down. Read a poem and a short story for the day. If you don't know, Crystal talked recently about how every morning she is reading a poem while she drinks her coffee. And I just love that. I love poetry and I love coffee. And it just sounds like a great way to start the day. So, yeah, like I said, I got a little bit to eat, have a mimosa because why not? And then did some reading. So let's see. Kat made a phone call. Oh, lots of responses. Going to see your dad. Let us know too, Kat. How's your dad doing? I'm glad you're going to get a chance to go visit him. I need to get back to go visit my parents soon myself. They are 3.5 hours away, so it's not always easy to make that trip over there. And then especially when you factor in, Rena, because it's not always easy to travel with Rena. So I am planning though to get back to my parents' house sometime toward the end of February or beginning of March. It's just there's not a good weekend coming up that I can make it. So gonna have to wait a little bit longer than I normally would have waited to go visit them. And that's also hard to them being so far away. Then I can't get over there as much as I want to. So let everybody else who hasn't let us know, if you're here, let us know what you did to practice some self-care that time. If you see me like rubbing my hands together, it is still cold here. Like my dog's an inside dog, but sometimes, I mean, he does, go outside and stuff. So we also keep water outside for when he wants to go out in the backyard. We have a fenced in backyard, so we have water when he wants to go out there and play and bask in the sun. And I just looked a little while ago, and the water outside is still frozen to this like big chunk of ice in the bowl. So we don't get that a lot here. So it's kind of fun. Yes, yes, that is something else too I've noticed with my dad, because of course that generation, they're boomers. So my mom pretty much did all the cooking and cleaning, and my dad, went to his job outside the home and just came home and just kind of, she took care of him. But I will say for my dad, like when my mom's Parkinson's, as soon as she started to really not be able to do the things she used to do, my dad, I mean, I was so moved by him. He learned how to cook, he cleaned stuff up, which eventually I told, my sister and I talked to him and said, you have got to get somebody to come and clean this house. You can't keep trying to do this. So they did, and they do. My dad still does have somebody to come clean the house, but it's like if he were here, I could help with dinner. He could come over and eat. But he has, he's learned to cook. But I mean, now it's just him there. So sometimes he's just like getting a can of soup, or then sometimes he'll talk about, he's got a menu plan for the week. And I'm just like, wow. And he was talking to me the other day, and he was trying to make up his bed because his housekeeper usually would do that, but she had been sick, so she didn't come that week. So he was talking about how hard it was to get the fitted sheet on right. And it's just, my dad's almost 80, and that breaks my heart, him trying to figure all this out, on top of the grief he's already feeling, of course, because of my mom. So yeah, I totally like get that, the needing the help around the house because they just aren't used to it. Yeah, yeah, like I said, I'm in chapter 4 now, but the previous chapter, the history of the house, I was like, I was I didn't expect that. So I was like, wow, that is bleak. Um, ooh, organic ginger beet shot. I like ginger. I don't like beets. I cannot handle beets at all. But they're my best friend was one of her favorite things. She's like, I'll make this beet salad for you and you'll like beets. I'm like, no, I won't. No, I won't. But she loves them. I just can't do it. Can't do it. Oh, brunch. Let me know. Let us know what you fixed for brunch. I love brunch. I could whip up some brunch. I do have eggs and I have cheese. I could make pancakes, but I was too lazy. So I already had spinach dip and chips. I'm like, that's lunch. That's good enough. Oh, see, that's interesting because Crystal mentioned she was helping her son with his homework and it was about World War II. And then you're reading a book about World War II. So see again, like we talked earlier about history and literature being connected, and here we see a real example of that. Yeah, it is not quite what I expected with the second and third chapters, the brutality there. I was like, whoa, yeah, bleak. No, no beats ever. Oh no. Oh no. I stand with you on no beats, but hey, like I said, a lot of people love them, they're just not they're not for me. Pancakes and sausage, yummy, yummy. You're at least now making me want pancakes. I might could even forego like eggs and sausage. Now I just want pancakes. Yeah, I can imagine. Like, no. Ginger turmeric shot. I can see that. Yeah, because I like ginger and turmeric. Struggle with the fitted sheet. Yeah, I can get the fitted sheet on the bed with no problem. My problem is like folding a fitted sheet. I know there's a technique and a certain way you can do it, but I will just be honest. Folding a fitted sheet for me, I just roll that sucker up and put it in my linen closet because I am not about to try to neatly fold a fitted sheet. Now, my younger sister, she very much is into folding her fitted sheets and having all of that just laid out nicely. I am not that. I'm like, if it rolls up and I can put it in the closet, there we go. Okay, so let's see. We are at the end of the comments. It's 11:30. So same thing that we ended up doing last week. Normally we would do 45-minute sprints, but I typically like to end around 12. So we'll do a 30-minute sprint and then come back for our last little chat. Yeah, I know. I have watched Martha Stewart do it, and I still can't quite get it right. And I probably could if I had more patience, but it's just like one of those things where I'm like, man, screw it. But I have watched, I have watched Martha do it. It's just one of those things that I'm just not. I don't have the patience for it. All right. Well, we will go. We will do 30 minutes. I will put up that banner to remind us to come back in 30 minutes. So let me just do that. Won't be able to put up, well, I guess I could put up like last sprint. Normally I just have it saying last sprint, but I could put both in here so that everybody knows this will be the last sprint. And we'll just come back at 12. That's not exactly 30 minutes, but you know what? We'll just come back at 2 minutes after 12. Then that'll give us 30 minutes. Yes. All right. I will see you all in 30 minutes. Let's see. I can put this up. Let's see. There. Well, I need to put the last sprint in it, and that is not the right one. Hold on. Wrong banner. Now let's see. No, why am I not clicking the right one? Now I'm gonna have to change it. I'm gonna change it to I'm gonna change it to returning at 5 after the hour since it is taking me so long to make sure I'm clicking on the right banner. Now this should be the one. Let me make sure I'm going up to show the right one. Yay! See you all in 32 minutes. Hello, everyone. How did you do during that 30 minutes? I actually ended up making pancakes and eating pancakes, and they were absolutely delicious. So, thanks, Chantel, for the inspiration. So that's pretty much what I did. I did that and I listened to a podcast, or finished listening to an episode, I should say, because it was a little bit of a longer episode and I've been listening to it on and off since yesterday. If you want to know what I was listening to, it was the Spooky Sips podcast, their latest episode, where they talked about my favorite horror movie of 2025, Bring Her Back. Brutal, bleak as hell, disturbing, gut wrenching. It made me cry. It literally too made my jaw drop like 3 or 4 times. And even though it's my favorite movie of 2025 and I bought it, I've only been able to watch it the one time because it is just that bleak and disturbing. So yeah, check it out if you haven't, and then listen to the Spooky Sips episode where they talk about it. So let's see what is going on in the chat. Yes, I am post-menopausal. I've been menopausal for, I don't know, maybe a year and a half now. I've been, been diagnosed, or whatever you would call it, with being menopausal now, I guess post menopausal. And my OBGYN did put me on HRT, but again, I just had a really, really bad reaction to the hormone replacement therapy. So I'm not on any hormones now. So I am raw dogging menopause. So I'm sure that has a lot to do with my issues too. Oh goodness, getting older is not for the faint of heart. Oh wow. See, that's one thing I can't imagine. Like I said, last year, in January of 2025, we got like 6 inches of snow here, which is unheard of. And when that happens down here in the South, they have to pretty much shut everything down. So we don't really have to get out, or we can't really drive in it. We don't have the equipment, we don't have the proper tires, we're not prepared for that kind of stuff. But I cannot imagine like having to shovel snow and deal with it like that. That's just something I can't wrap my brain around, because I've always lived down here in this area, so I can't even fathom what that's like. Yes, it did. It did bring me a lot of joy. Now I'm full and happy with my pancakes. Turned out really good. Nice lunch in YouTube. Very nice. More of the same. Yeah, you know what? I think if you just focused on Folklore February, that would probably be a good idea. That way you're not feeling overwhelmed. And then, like you said, you can just share some of it in the Discord, because that's another thing. Like, I'm better now, but I dealt toward the end of last year with a lot of burnout with BookTube, because I was putting myself out there and filming videos, and they weren't getting a lot of views. I still don't have a whole lot of subscribers. I'm thankful for the 450 something. It keeps going up and down. You know how it is. I'm thankful for the subscribers I have, and thankful for the community, but I did deal with a lot of burnout. So I'm just really trying to pace myself right now with what I put out there. Because it can be difficult, and you want it to be fun. It's a hobby, so you want to have a good time doing it, and you don't want to feel like it's something you have to do, or feel like it's this job that you have to do. And, that's one of the things I'm learning very slowly, is just to have fun with it. Yeah, see, yeah, burnout before I even saw your comment. Yes. February reading plans live stream this Sunday. Yeah. Yeah. Because it is like burnout is so easy to experience when you are pushing through you're trying to put your content out there, and then everything starts stacking up, and then there's life and other responsibilities and other hobbies, other things you want to do. So yeah, I totally understand. Yes, it's all month of February. A cat, saying yes to. Yeah, I'm excited. I have a couple of books I know I'll be reading for Folklore February, and I'm excited about both of them. One of them I've had a while, and been saving it for Folklore February. It's a Gothic Blue Book. I don't remember the number, but it's Gothic Blue Book Folklore Edition. And a few years ago, I read Gothic Blue Book 6, a Krampus collection, and it was one of those anthologies that I actually enjoyed and even loved all the stories in it. And that doesn't happen too often. So I've got high expectations for the Gothic Blue Book Folklore edition. So I hope I won't get let down, as can happen sometimes when you have certain expectations. Yes, yeah, Kelsey, if you haven't watched her newest video where she does talk about her channel name change to Kelsey's Nostalgic Life, and she also talks about YouTube burnout and the struggles and the how disheartening it can be to put yourself out there and you feel like your channel's not growing, and you start to think, okay, especially like, I know you shouldn't compare yourself, but we're only humans. And I know for me, I compare myself to people who started on BookTube around the same time I did, or even people who started a year after I did, and they've already, reached 1,000+ subscribers. And I've been at it for a little over 2 years, and I'm hovering around 450. So it can get to feeling like, I look at myself, I'm like, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. I start thinking nobody cares about my opinion. I'm just screaming into the void. But again, going back to what I said earlier, I am focusing on community because I have all of you here right now, and I am focused on having fun with it, because it will get you down if you get hung up on the numbers and stuff. Exactly. Exactly. And you want to have fun when you're filming. You want to be able to, be excited, and people know when you're not. They can tell when you're putting it out there and you're not really feeling it. So, yeah, you can't push through and have a good time. So you got to just pace yourself. Thank you for being here, Steph. I hope you have a wonderful rest of today and rest of this week. And I hope to see you next Tuesday. Yeah, I understand. Because there is so much that like calls out for our attention, and so much that we need to do. And then there are things we want to do. And if we try to do too much, then I feel like we're falling behind on almost everything. Like, I am behind, really. I wanted at this point in January to be finished cleaning and decluttering my office. And I'm not even halfway through with that, but I'm trying to give myself grace because I was sick. And then my son and his friend were home the past 2 weekends. So I'm like, it's fine. My goal is to have every room in my house cleaned and decluttered by the end of this year. But I said, if I can't, that's okay, because I can go on, into 2027 and finish cleaning and decluttering whatever I don't get to this year. So I am still planning to hit this office hard. honestly, it probably won't even be this week. It'll probably be next week. I might get one little thing done in it this week, and then I'll probably stop because I got other stuff I want to do, need to do. Brenna's got her MRI Friday, and I just, I'm going to lunch with my friend Sunday, so it'll be fine. Self-care, right? Yes. Yeah, yeah, readathons are exciting and I love doing them. But one of the things that I've realized that I plan to put into practice this year is not trying to do necessarily all of the prompts in a readathon. There are a couple of readathons in February. Of course, I want to do Folklore February, and I've got 2 books I want to read for that. I'm also going to be doing the I Love Black Horror event, which was or is headed up by Kelsey at Kelsey Sweets. And I have 1 book I know I'm going to read for that. And that's where I'm going to participate, but not put a lot of pressure on myself to do all the things, because then it can be very overwhelming. So I totally get that. Yes, that like Kelsey has so many wonderful videos, but that is one of the best videos ever, not just of Kelsey's, but of any booktuber I've ever watched. Just the way she shares her heart and talks about authenticity and about your channel being what you love and not trying to fit into one particular niche, because we're more nuanced than that. And it's just a fantastic video. So if you haven't watched it, definitely go check it out. Okay, I think we are at the end of our comments now. So I just want to say thank you, everyone, for being here today. Thank you for sticking with me after my initial, when we first came on, where I was just sharing my heart and my grief and my anger. And I am looking forward to seeing you all again here next week. Be sure you're practicing self-care, whether you take 5 minutes or an entire day or an entire week, whatever you can fit in. Just make sure you do something for yourself, for your mental, your physical, your emotional health. And I will see you all next week. And if anybody is catching this on the replay, I'm sorry, I don't think I recognized you at the beginning of this video. So I definitely want to recognize you at the end. Thank you for watching on the replay. Let me know what you got up to for your self-care practice this week. And I will see you again soon. Bye, everyone.